Hare Krishna. I welcome everybody to Bhakti Sangha Chipa conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Kirtida Sundari Mathaji to enlighten us on topic Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila, second chapter, 11th verse onwards. Hare Krishna Kirtida Sundari Mathaji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much Mathaji for joining and giving your valuable association and time this morning. We are very fortunate to have you on the call. Please take over the call, Mathaji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Vinita Gandharvika Mathaji. Thank you for your very warm welcome. And thank you all the kids today who joined us for chanting. I know Karthik was there, Rinda was there, and then Akshita was also there. So thank you all so much. Really appreciate, Okay, so Mataji, my voice is audible because I'm not using my earpods today.
It's good. Mataji, very loud.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone, each and every one of you for your very personal association and wonderful chanting and now in the class. So thank you everyone. And thank you, Vrinda. Your smile always makes smile on my face. So you're so sweet. Thank you. So we'll start here. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jayo Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jayo Jayo Shri Caitanya Jayo Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jayo Jayo Shri Caitanya Jayo Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Lila, chapter 2, entitled The Chastisement of Junior Haridas or Chota Haridas. And today we'll do text number 11 onwards. Prabhure dekhi ayaya Vaishnavahana Krishna Bali nache sava prema vastahana. Having seen the Lord, they all became Vaishnavas. Thus, in ecstatic love of Godhead, they chanted the Hare Krishna mantra and danced. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Guruve Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishna Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Charu Swami Niti Namine Snikta Cheta Supranita Vagmima Charasa Pratam Prabhupada Gata Prana Nami Bhakti Charu. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you all so much for your wonderful association. And I really seek blessings and prayers from each and every one of you that, I may able to speak something relevant and glorification of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and glorification of our acharyas and in purification of my own self. So kindly don't be so miser and please shower your heartfelt wishes and prayers and blessings on me. I just beg each and every one of you, Vancha kalpa tarubhascha kripa sindhu bhayevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Okay, so thank you all so much. Let's begin now. So this verse, it says, having seen the Lord, they all became Vaishnavas. Thus, in ecstatic love of Godhead, they chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and danced. So we have completed the first chapter, which was the second meeting of Srila Rupa Goswami with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And now we are doing the second chapter of Antya Lila, which is the chastisement of Chota Haridas. But this verse, what is the context of this verse? Who were all those Vaishnavas? Why they got so ecstatic, and why they chanted this Hare Krishna mantra, and why they danced? We'll just see the context, and then we'll move forward with future verses, what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami wants to say. So just a disclaimer before I begin my class, that this today's discussion will be just on a base of storyline, so hopefully all the kids can also enjoy it. There'll be not much of philosophy because it's just a storyline, and Prabhupada has not given much of the purports also, so it's just the verses, Bengali verses, and the translation, and it's just the stories that we are going to discuss today. So moving forward, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he started this chapter, this Antya Lila second chapter, the chastisement of Chota Haridas, Junior Haridas, and he started by reciting Mangalacharan. That's, his usual way of starting a chapter and ending the chapter in glorifying the previous acharyas. So he starts this chapter with Vandeham Shri Guru Tapada Kamalam verse, where he's praying and he's offering his respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of his spiritual master, and to all the Vaishnavas, Advaita Acharya, the six Goswamis, Srimad Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the devotees, and headed by Srivas Thakur, and then finally to Lord Sri Krishna, Srimati Radharani, and all the gopis headed by Lalita Devi and Vishakha Devi. And then he starts the chapter and how Krishna, as an incarnation of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he descended just to deliver all the living beings in the three worlds. And so Kaviraj Goswami, he starts, the way the Lord delivered the three worlds, how, in which three ways, this deliverance of the living beings happen. So the reference to this is the verse number 5th verse, where he says, Sakshat darshana arayogya bhakta jiva avesha karya kaha kaha avirbhava. So that's the verse. I'm so sorry. This is not, this is 7th verse. Yeah. Sakshat darshane sabha jagat tarila. Sorry, I'm lost. Yeah, sorry. I'm so sorry. It's the 4th verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila chapter 2. Sakshat darshana ara yogya bhakta jive avesha karya kaha kaha avirbhava. So 3 ways that, Kaviraj Goswami describes. The first one is Sakshat Darshana, just by meeting the Lord directly. And next he tells about Avesha. Avesha means empowering someone, empowering a pure devotee of the Lord. So this is another way where Lord, makes his pure devotee a medium, so that he can become an instrument in delivering all the living beings. And third is through his avirbhava, means by appearing himself before someone and giving some personal instructions and guiding. So just to make this a point, that there are 3 ways that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes. The first is the Sakshat Darshana. Second is through Avesha, that is by empowering. And third is the Avirbhava, that is by appearance. So we know very well what is Sakshat Darshana. This word itself gives the meaning, Sakshat and Darshana. Darshan means to give his personal presence. And Avesha, we all know the Sakshakti Vesha Avatara, right? From there the word Avesha is taken. And Avirbhava, which means the appearance, because in our Sampradaya also, whenever there is an appearance day of any personality, we say it's the Avirbhava Tithi, right? And on the disappearance days, we say that it is his Tirobhava Tithi, right? So we are familiar of these words, Avirbhav and Tirobhav. So now here, one of the ways is Avirbhav, by appearing himself in front of somebody and by guiding. So these are the three ways that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, actually, there is a verse that describes one of the names of Krishna. And that Krishna's names is Hari Medhasa. Okay. So what is the meaning of Hari Medhasa? It means one who's through his intelligence, through his medha, he makes different plans to destroy all the sufferings of material life by one way or another. If one way fails, then he makes another way. If that doesn't work, then he makes third way. This way he keeps on planning through his intelligence, that so that the three worlds can be delivered and all the living beings can be liberated. So therefore his name is, one of the name is Hari Medhasa. Now, so the Lord, in his magnanimous incarnation as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he delivered everyone who came into direct contact of him in his Sakshat Darshana, who came by personally meeting the Lord. They were delivered. And we saw an example in Madhya Lila when we covered that how Prakashananda Saraswati and all the residents of Varanasi, they all became devotees just by coming in contact, in direct association with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So just through his darshan matra, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered them. But there are others whom Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't deliver, right? They were not so much eager to meet Sriman Mahaprabhu. They didn't realize his importance. And even to them, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he didn't leave them behind, because he is one of the magnanimous avatar, right? Incarnation. And so he delivered them through his avesha, that is by empowering. Avesha means to enter into the bodies of some pure devotees. And in this regard, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he narrates the beautiful pastimes of Nakula Brahmachari. And others, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered by simply appearing before them through his Avirbhav. And in this regard, he shares the pastimes of Lord with Pradyumna or Narshingananda Brahmachari, who later, basically, he was a Pradyumna Brahmachari, but later he was initiated and he was known as Narsimhananda Brahmachari. In this way, Lord delivered the fallen souls. So let's go with the flow, how Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is going. And through various verses of this Chaitanya Charitamrita, we'll go with the flow, we'll see these examples, and we'll try to understand. So first is the Sakshat Darshana Matra, by direct meeting. So text 7, it says, Sakshat Darshana Sabha Jagat Tarila, Ekabara Ye Dekhila, Sakritartha Haila. That when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was personally present, anyone in the world who met with him, even once, ekabara, he was fully satisfied and he became spiritually advanced. And then we know how every year some devotees from Bengal, they would go to Puri to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And just by seeing the Lord and having his darshan, seeing his lotus feet, they would be fully satisfied. And they get so ecstatic in love of Godhead that they chanted Hare Krishna and they danced. So this is the verse that we read today, that Prabhure dekhi yaya Vaishnavahana, Krishna bali nache sabha prema vishtahana. So just by his sakshat darshan, by his personal presence of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the devotees who gets this opportunity to have this sakshat darshan, they become Vaishnavas. And not only Vaishnavas, they get so much absorbed in ecstatic Krishna prema that they simply started dancing and chanting. And in this regard, we know in Madhya Lila, we read about that how Lord delivered all the residents of Varanasi headed by great Mayavadi philosopher who was Prakashananda Saraswati. So all the people of Varanasi, they were turned into Vaishnavas. How? Thus by direct meeting, just having a darshan matra of the Supreme Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered them. This is about the Sakshat Darshan. Next comes the Avesha, that there were still some people who didn't acknowledge the supremacy of the Supreme Lord as Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they didn't get chance to have his Sakshat Darshan. But God, Lord being so magnanimous in nature, he didn't leave them. And then the second way he followed, that is through his Avesha. So through Avesha, through entering the bodies of his pure devotees, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would empower his devotees so that seeing the devotion of his pure devotees, others get inspired and they can be delivered. So we have the live example of this. We all know our dear most Srila Prabhupada. Because Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami actually in further verses, further chapters rather of Antya Lila, he says, Kali Kalena Dharma Krishna Nama Sankirtana, Krishna Shakti Vina Nahe Tara Pravartana. He says that no doubt that the that the Yuga Dharma of this Kali Yuga is Nama, is Krishna Nama, is chanting the holy name, right? It's the Krishna Nama Sankirtana. Kali Kalera Dharma, Krishna Nama Sankirtana. But he says, Krishna Shakti Vina Nahe Tara Pravartana. That though the Yoga Dharma is Sankirtan, but still, unless and until one is empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot spread the holy name of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Krishna Shakti Vina Nahe Tara Pravartana. Any pravartan, any change that is brought in somebody's life, that cannot be possible unless and until that personality is empowered or endowed with some power by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And our dear most Srila Prabhupada is one of the example of this Avesha Avatara. He is the empowered incarnation. Only then we see that how in the age of 70 he could bring a revolution in the whole world, I should say, the whole world, but just by the power of Mahaprabhu. So this is the second process, that by empowering his devotee, he delivered many conditioned souls. Now we, some of us were not fortunate, right? 500 years ago, Mahaprabhu came. So we were not fortunate to have his darshan matra so that we can we can make our life successful. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't even leave us. He's Trikaldarshi. He knew that, few other souls who will be born in Kali Yuga will definitely not get my personal association. So let me send my Senapati Bhakta. Let me send my Commander-in-Chief, our dear Srila Prabhupada, and empower him so that we can become in touch in his mission, and we can become an instrument in propagating the chanting of the holy name. At the same time, deliver ourselves, but also inspire others so that others can also. And this is what happens. Many of us in the conference call right now present, I'm pretty sure, have not met Srila Prabhupada, unless and until if Sucharya Mathaji is here, because she is Prabhupada disciple. But otherwise, we were also not fortunate, to meet Srila Prabhupada. But then Srila Prabhupada, being an empowered incarnation, he empowered his disciples so that they can become an instrument in delivering all of us. And so through the medium of our present Guru Vargas, our spiritual masters, he became the instrument and he connected us to Srila Prabhupada. And that is what the disciplic succession is, right? And he connected us to Srila Prabhupada. So whenever, we see any initiations happen, by our present Guru Vargas, they'll always say, oh, I'm initiating you on behalf of Srila Prabhupada. They don't take up that leadership position. They are the leaders, but still they say that back is our dear Srila Prabhupada. And that's how they are so much chaste to Srila Prabhupada and his mission. And so they are expecting us also, that we should also be chaste to ISKCON. We should also be chaste to Srila Prabhupada. Only then, that empowerment that is coming from Mahaprabhu to other acharyas, to Srila Prabhupada, to our present Guru Vargas, will definitely get transferred to all the disciples, so that now we can become an instrument and inspire others, those who are literally leading their materialistic way of life. So anyways, so so through this second process of empowering his devotee, he delivered many conditioned souls. And in this regard, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he quotes the beautiful pastimes of Nakula Brahmachari, which we'll go through, and we'll go through the flow of various verses of Sri Caitanya Charitamrita. So I'll not be reading all the verses because it's a storyline, but wherever some important verse will be coming, definitely I'll be referring to. So moving on to that pastime. Once in West Bengal, in Burdwan district, there was a neighborhood which is named as Ambika, right? But at that time, there was a period of Mughal rule. The Muslim rules were there. And therefore, the same neighborhood, Ambika, was later known as Ambua Mulk. Mulk means province, this is Urdu. This is the language used by the Muslims. So they say Mulak, right? So this is a Mulk, and from Ambika, he made it Ambua, right? So Ambua Mulk. So in that Ambua Mulk, there was a great Vaishnava whose name was Nakula Brahmachari, and he used to live there. And he was a very, very pure devotee of the Supreme Lord, and he was greatly advanced in all his devotional services. So now, to deliver all the people of West Bengal who were left, who didn't get a direct association of Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he entered into the heart of that Nakula Brahmachari. And as soon as Mahaprabhu entered the heart of Nakula Brahmachari, naturally he became exactly like a madman. He became like a man who is haunted by a ghost. That's what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes. So because he was so much absorbed, Mahaprabhu himself entered into his heart. So what else we can expect? He became so ecstatic. He would sometimes laugh, he would sometimes sing, he would dance, he would shout aloud. Sometimes he would cry just like a madman. Because both his inner attitude and of course his physical appearance also, that also took the nature of Mahaprabhu. His bodily transformations, it exhibit the nature of that pure transcendental love. So even his inner attitude as well as physical appearance, it brought some hue, some effulgence because of the presence of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in text 19, Kaviraj Goswami, he quotes, Ashro Kampa Stamba Sweda Satvika Vikar, Nirantara Prema Nritya Saghana Honkar. What Nakula Brahmachari would do, sometimes he would ashru kampa. Ashru means sometimes the tears will flow incessantly from his eyes. He would cry. Kampa, he would tremble. Then stamba, he would become stunned. Then shveda, sometimes he would perspire. These are all what? These are satvika vikaras. These are the transformation that is brought by in somebody's body who is literally, deep dive into that transcendental love. Then definitely he will, have all these sattvika vikars. And what is that? Nirantara prema nritya. He would continuously dance in trance. And saghana hunkara. Ghana means cloud, and saghana means the bunch of clouds. When the bunch of clouds, they come together, they bring a thunder sound, right? So the hunkara, sometimes that Nakula Brahmachari would roar, and would make sounds like that of a cloud. So this way, his whole body he was exhibiting the symptom of this transcendental ecstasy. And this is about his inner attitude, but his external body hue has the same luster as that of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when people in the West Bengal, they heard about this miraculous occurrences that is surrounding Nakula Brahmachari, they all flocked together to see him, to have his darshan. And in his presence, just by seeing him, all the people who went just by having a darshan of that Nakula Brahmachari, they would be influenced by the absorption of Mahaprabhu's mood, because that Mahaprabhu's mood get transferred into the person who was seeing that personality, that Nakula Brahmachari. And they got so much influenced that they started getting that experience of the taste of Krishna Prema. And finally, they also, started dancing and doing all kind of kirtans, because they were also now touched by the Mahaprabhu's mood, and they also got so much ecstatic. So when Shivananda Sen, he heard, we know about who was Shivananda Sen, and, we read about in the very first chapter about how the deliverance of dog that was following Shivananda Sen, how he was being delivered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the same Shivananda Sen, when he heard about all this, that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has entered the body of that Nakula Brahmachari, he could not believe that this is all true. He has some doubt. He started doubting on the acts of Nakula Brahmachari, and he could not believe that it is all true. So finally, what he did, that he decided to test Nakula Brahmachari and eradicate all his doubts. So Shivananda Sen, he came to that Ambika, that Ambua Mulk, and he came in the same gathering where people were there, but he kept himself at some distance from Nakula Brahmachari. He just didn't come right in front of Nakula Brahmachari, rather he stayed at some far distance to observe his activities and all. So through a distance, he thought that if this Nakula Brahmachari is really possessed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then he would personally call out to me. He will personally call out to me among this huge crowd, and he will directly tell me my worshipable mantra. So that thought came into the mind of Shivananda Sen, that if this Nakula Brahmachari is really possessed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has really entered into his heart, then, I don't need to go in front of him. Rather, he will call upon me and directly tell me my worshipable mantra. And if it happens, only then I will believe that Nakula Brahmachari is really inspired by the presence of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So anyways, that was his mind thoughts that were going on. So he kept aside and he stayed away at a distance. And then what happened? There was a huge crowd of people that was gathering that place. And in spite of the fact that, Shivananda Sen was invisible to Nakula Brahmachari, because he was quite far and the huge people, there was a huge crowd, but still Nakula Brahmachari somehow got inspired by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he called upon 2 to 4 of the devotees present there, and they said, go in that crowd and just announce that wherever is Shivananda Sen, go and bring him, because I'm sure that he's staying some far distance away. So you please go and bring Shivananda Sen right here. So people, they started running here and there, and they were calling out the names of Shivananda Sen. That, oh Shivananda Sen, who are you? Where are you? This Nakula Brahmachari is calling upon you. And he's, you should please come and see him right now. Where are you? So hearing his name being called by this way, Shivananda Sen, he quickly came out of the crowd, and he came right in front of this Nakula Brahmachari, and he offered obeisances to him, and he sat down near him. Then Nakula Brahmachari said, I know you are doubtful. Now, please hear this evidence with great attention and remove all your doubts. So immediately, as soon as Shivananda Sen came and sat near to Nakula Brahmachari, he said that, I know you are doubtful. I could read your heart, and hear what I'm going to say you now. And he quoted, and he said, Gaura Gopala Mantra Tomara Chari Akshara Avishwasa Chadi Ye Kari Achantara. So he's saying, Gaura Gopala Mantra Tomara Chari Akshara. So he just remembered what Shivananda Sen thought, that first of all, he should call me out through my name. And secondly, he should immediately disclose my worshipable mantra. So, and that's what happened. As soon as Jivanand Sen came in front of him, Nakula Brahmachari said, Gaura Gopala mantra tumhari chari akshara. That this 4-syllable mantra, this Gaur Gopal mantra, is your worshipable mantra. It's a chari akshara, it's a 4-syllable mantra. Avishwasa chada. Avishwas means whatever doubt you have, chada, just leave up, give up all your doubts, whatever you have. In Kariyacha Antara means whatever doubts you have in your heart, just now give up all those doubts. And he disclosed that your worshipable mantra is the 4-syllable Gaur Gopal mantra. And then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he explains this Gaur Gopal mantra in his commentary, which is Amrita Prabhava Bhashya. And then Srila Prabhupada also quotes this, that what is this Gaur Gopal mantra? And he says that this 4-syllable Gaur Gopal mantra is Gau Ra Ang Ga, Gauranga. So this is your worshipable Gaur Gopal mantra, that is Gauranga, right? That he said that Prabhupada actually quotes that the worshippers of Sri Gaurasundar, they accept this 4-syllable Gau, Ra, Ang, Ga as the Gaura mantra. But pure worshippers of Radha and Krishna, they accept 4 syllables Ra, Dha, Krishna as their Gaur Gopal mantra. However, he says that Vaishnavas consider Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu non-different from Radha Krishna. We all know Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna, nahi anya. There is no difference between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radha Krishna. And therefore, one who chants the mantra of Gauranga and one who chants the names of Radha and Krishna, they are all on the same level. Gauranga bhajile, Gauranga japile, hoy dukhera bashan re, bhaj Gauranga, kaho Gauranga, laho Gaurangera naam re, jai jana Gauranga bhaje, se hoy amare pran re, bhaj Gauranga, kaho Gauranga, laha Gaurangera naam re. This is the beauty of chanting, Mahaprabhu's name. See, we have to understand that yes, the worship of Radha and Krishna is supreme, no doubt about it. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. But Mahaprabhu is non-different from Radha and Krishna. And for this Kali Yuga, it is Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So in the last class also, we were referring to Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur's, quotation that those who don't worship Gauranga and they just say that I worship Krishna, they don't worship Krishna at all. Because if you don't worship Gauranga, if you don't acknowledge the Navadvip Dham as the highest Dham, then you are not eligible to enter even Vrindavan Dham. So to get entrance into Vrindavan Dham, you should have this knowledge of the importance of Navadvip Dham. And on the other hand, those who know Navadvip Dham, those who worship Gaurasundar, those who worship Gauranitai, definitely they worship Radha and Krishna, because Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna, nahi anya. There is no difference. And in this regard, what do you say? Even Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Navadvip Mahatmya, he says, Gauranga bhajile dushta bhave dur jai, swalpa dine vraja dham Radha Krishna pai. He says, Gauranga bhajile, those who worship, those who chant, those who sing Gauranga, dushta bhave dur jai, means their offensive mentality, it goes away. It goes very far, those who worship and just chant the name of Gauranga. In this regard, I was thinking that how, even His Holiness Shri Shripad Jayapataka Swami Maharaj would always say, Gauranga, Nityananda, whenever he'll meet, especially, when I met him for the first time, I just said Hare Krishna Maharaj, and he said Gauranga. So he inspires everybody to chant Gauranga, Gauranga. And that's what the mood is, right? Because we are in this Kali Yuga. Our only solace is Gauranga. It's very hard to have the worship or to do or to understand the Leelas of Krishna. So, better we take shelter of Nitai, our Nityanandaram, who, makes us eligible so that we can know Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So anyways, Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, Gauranga bhajile dushta bhave dur jai. Those who worship Gauranga, their offensive mentality that goes away. Swa alpa dine. Alpa means very, very small, in just a fraction of seconds. Dine means days, and just some fraction of days means very less days. And when alpa, when you add swa in front of alpa, the prefix, it becomes very, very less days. Swa alpa. Alpa itself means less, but swa alpa means in a very, very less time. Vrajadham. One gets the benediction of staying in Vrajadham and Radha Krishna Pai, and they get the direct worship of Shri Shri Radha and Krishna just by saying and worshipping and chanting the name of Gauranga. So if you worship Gauranga, you get Krishna Prem. Right? So like it is said that if you worship Narsingha, you go to Narsingha Loka. Right? And if you worship Varhadev, you go to Varha Loka. But if you worship Gauranga, you go to Krishna Loka, you go to the Vrajadham, you go to Goloka Vrindavan just by worshipping Gauranga, but just by chanting Gauranga. He is the biggest Radhatmika Bhakta that gives us Raganuga Bhakti to give us the entrance into Vrajadham. Right? So this is what, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that, he narrated that, how Nakula Brahmachari, he revealed this worshipable mantra of Shivananda Sen. And he said that, this is Gauranga is your worshipable mantra. And he disclosed and he revealed rather that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through his Avesh, he literally entered into the heart of Nakula Brahmachari so that he could inspire all other people. And we saw that how all other people, just by seeing Nakula Brahmachari's trance, dance in his trance, in his ecstasy, they got enthused, they got inspired to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and to dance, and finally they all were liberated. So this was the first pastime that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami quoted about the Avesha. Now the third that is known as, first is the Sakshat Darshan, second is the Avesha, and now third we'll discuss about the Avirbhava, that how Mahaprabhu's appearance takes place. And in this regard, Kaviraj Goswami quotes, the words, it's 34 and 35. Sachira mandire ara Nityananda nartane Shivasa kirtane ara Raghava bhavane Ei charithani prabhura sada avirbhava Premakshita haya prabhura sahaja swabhava. So what he's saying, that how the manifestation, the Avirbhav of Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu happens. So first he is saying, the word is Sachira Mandire, right? Sachira Mandire means in the house of Sachi Mata. So in the house of Sachi Mata, whenever Sachi Mata used to cook, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to come and honor that prasadam even after he took sannyas. Okay, so after taking sannyas also, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would come. As soon as Sachi Mata would meditate and cook for his son, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu would come and honor that prasadam. So this Avirbhav of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always and always and always there in these four places. First is Sachira Mandire, at the house of Mother Sachi. Then Nityananda Nartane, wherever Nityananda Prabhu is dancing, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always there. And we know that how this Panihati festival, when Raghunath Das Goswami was ordered by Nityananda Prabhu that now you have to feed all the Vaishnavas. And at that time, Raghunath Das Goswami, he made an arrangement of elaborated Dahi Chida festival, that feast was prepared. And Nityananda Prabhu was literally dancing in ecstasy. And at that time, Mahaprabhu himself came and Nityananda Prabhu was feeding with his own hands to Mahaprabhu, that Chida Dahi. So it's quite fortunate, those who are very fortunate devotees, they could see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared. So his Avirbhav happened at that time. So first is the Sachira Mandire, then comes the Nityananda Nartane, then third verse is Shiva's Angane. Wherever in the Shiva's Angan some Kirtan goes on, the Avirbhav of Mahaprabhu always happens. Mahaprabhu is personally present in Shiva's Thakur's Angan. Then Raghave Bhavane. So we know that Raghava Pandit, and he was a great cook, he and his sister, and they used to cook for Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu used to love their cooking. So, whenever Raghav Pandit used to cook, and at that time, Mahaprabhu's Avirbhav is always there. Ei Chari Thani, these 4 places, Prabhura Sada Avirbhava, that Mahaprabhu's Avirbhav always happens. So let's see the translation. Translation says that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always appeared in 4 places: in the household temple of Mother Sachi, in the places where Sri Nityananda Prabhu danced, in the house of Shiva's Pandit during congregational chanting, and in the house of Raghava Pandit. He appeared because of his attraction of the love of his devotees, and this is his natural characteristics. This is Prabhura Sahaja Swabhava. This is Mahaprabhu's Sahaja Swabhava, his natural characteristics, that because of that love for his devotees, he cannot avoid staying in these 4 places. So just like Mahaprabhu is present in all these 4 places at all times, similarly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he appeared once, before Narsimhananda Brahmachari. And then Kaviraj Goswami, he narrates this pastimes of his Avirbhava deliverance, that how through his Avirbhav, he delivers all the people, present there. So in this regard, Kaviraj Goswami, he quotes another pastime with Narsingananda Brahmachari. So again, it happens with Shivanand Sen only. So previous in the Nakula Brahmachari pastime also, Shivanand Sen was an instrument. And in this also, Shivanand Sen is one of the instrument in knowing that how Mahaprabhu's Avirbhav took place. So Shivanand Sen, he had a nephew and his name was Shrikanta Sen. So one year, Shrikanta, he came alone to Jagannath Puri, and we know that every year from devotees from Bengal would go to Puri just to see Mahaprabhu, to have his darshan. So one year it so happened that Shrikant Sen, he just all alone, he walked by and he went to Jagannath Puri in great eagerness to meet Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he stayed there for about 2 months. And there at Puri, he got a very, immense, association of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 2 months. So after 2 months, what happened, that he was decided that I should leave for Bengal now. And as soon as he took permission from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to go to Bengal, Mahaprabhu told him to convey the message to all the Bengali devotees, including Advaita Acharya. And the message was that there is no need for them to come to Puri this year, that particular year, for he himself would be visiting Bengal in the month of Paush, which is December and January. Okay. So Bengali devotees normally used to come, in Chaturmasya, in Rath Yatra pastime, and they used to stay there and spend that 4 months with Mahaprabhu. But the Shrikanta Sen, when he came, Lord Mahaprabhu, told him that you go back. So after 2 months when he planned to go back, then Mahaprabhu told him that just give this message to all the Bengali devotees that don't come this year, and I myself will come to Bengal and I will see everybody in the month of Paush, which is December and January. And he said, I will personally meet everyone and I will eat at Jagananda's house. And that's what also the instruction that is being given to Shrikant. So when Shrikant returned with this news, everyone became so jubilant in expectation that, wow, Lord Mahaprabhu himself will come to Navadvip, and he will come and he'll visit us. So Advaita Acharya, who was just planning to go to Jagannath Puri, he cancelled his program. He waited and he stayed back upon hearing this message that Mahaprabhu himself will come in the month of December and January. So finally, when the month of Paush, that is December, it arrived, Jagananda Pandit and Shivananda Sen, they collected all kind of paraphernalia, and they would, just for the convenience of Mahaprabhu's welcoming, that, how they are going to welcome and what all is needed. So they made all kind of perfect arrangements, Shivananda Sen and Jagananda Pandit, and they all collected all different kinds of paraphernalia. And every day, in the month of December and January, every day, because at that time there was no phone calls, nothing, the message cannot be given, and you all have to walk. It's not that, you thought one day and then next day you are at that place. You have to walk and cover that distance. So it takes time. And they were not sure because Mahaprabhu just said that I'll come in the month of Paush, right? Now the Paush, this is the whole 1 month, right? In lunar calendar, it starts from 14th to 15th of December, and it ends till 14th of January, and then 14th of January is the Makar Sankranti, that is the biggest Sankranti. So that whole month, half days of December and half days of January is actually the 1 month according to the lunar calendar. And so it was the full 1 month, and they didn't know which day Mahaprabhu will come. Paush is it's a whole month of Paush, right? So they didn't know. So every day, right from the morning till evening, they would wait for Lord to come. And very eagerly, every day they'll make all kind of arrangements, and that maybe Lord can come this day, or maybe tomorrow, or maybe day after this way. The whole month they waited. And when I was reading this, it made me remembered about how in Ramayana also we saw that how Shabari, she waited in that Panchavati Ghat when she was ordered by his spiritual master that Lord Ram would come one day and he'll ask you, because he'll ask you the way where Sugriva lives, and you are the one who is going to deliver this message. And every day Shabri would, lay down the path of his home to, with all the beautiful flowers, the fragrant flowers, and she would collect some berries so that Lord Ram can come any day. So that's the dedication and the sincerity of a devotee. Anyways, coming back to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, so this way even Shivanand Sen and Jagananda Pandit used to wait every day in this whole month. Finally, what happened? The month passed by, almost to be over, and the Lord did not come. It was not finished as such, but it was almost over, but Mahaprabhu didn't come, and they all became so depressed. And at that time, the Pradyumna Brahmachari, and he's the one who was given the name of Narshingananda later on. So he was initiated, but previously his name was Pradyumna Brahmachari. So we'll be referring either by Pradyumna Brahmachari's name or by Narshingananda Brahmachari. It's the one and the same thing. So he arrived and he asked them the reason of their unhappiness and disappointment. And then Shivanand Singh told him that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu promised that he would come, but he has yet not arrived. So we are so much upset and we are so much depressed because we didn't even get any further news also that where is Mahaprabhu, has he started from Puri or not. So hearing this, Narshingananda Brahmachari, he replied that he would bring Mahaprabhu there and then within 3 days, he promised. And everyone knew that Narshingananda Brahmachari is a very powerful in his spiritual practices. And so they all believed him that he's really going to bring Mahaprabhu within 3 days. So he sat down in meditation, and after 2 days he said that Mahaprabhu has already arrived in Panihati, and by midday tomorrow, that is by tomorrow noon, he will be here at your home. So without any further delay and without even doubting on what I said, just start preparing and making all kind of preparations, arranging all kind of paraphernalia. So we should start engaging ourselves in that. And then he told Shivanand Sen to make all kind of preparations, bring all kinds of cooking ingredients. And then he said, I will personally cook for Lord. And then Shivanand Sen and everybody, they make all kind of arrangements. They brought all kind of raw foods and other ingredients so that Nrsimhananda Brahmachari can nicely cook for the Lord. So he personally started cooking early in the morning, because that noon he said that Mahaprabhu will come. So he started cooking early in the morning, and he made a large variety of preparations, including all kinds of vegetables, some cakes, some sweet rice, and all other preparations he started. And after he finished cooking, he brought 3 separate plates. He arranged 3 separate plates, and he distributed all the food that he cooked in the 3 plates. So one is for Lord Jagannath, he offered. Second to Lord Nrsimhadev, who is his worshipable Lord. And third for Mahaprabhu. So he arranged that 3 plates in noontime after cooking and while offering. And so he sat down out of his temple room, and then he started meditating upon the Lord. And he, in his meditation, what he saw, that's a beautiful verse that Kaviraj Goswami quotes. Dekhe shigra ashiva shila chaitanya gosai tina bhoga khaile kichu avishishta nai. So what he saw in his meditation, that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and he sat down and he ate all the 3 offerings. He started eating from his plate, he started eating from Jagannath's plate, and he started eating from Nrsimhadev's plate. Tina bhoga khaile. All the 3 offerings was eaten by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kichu avishtanai, and he didn't even leave any kind of remnants behind. So he ate all the 3 offerings. And then when Nrsimhadeva Brahmachari, he saw this in his meditation, he became overwhelmed by ecstasy upon seeing Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eating everything. But just then, then, though he knew very well on a very high platform that, there is no distinction between Mahaprabhu, Nrsimhadev and Jagannath, they all are one. But in order to demonstrate the principle of devotion to one's own worshipable Lord, because his worshipable Lord is Lord Nrsimhadev, so just to, have to show basically to some devotion to his Nrsimhadev, he said, hey Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, why are you touching the offering of Lord Nrsimhadev? I know that, okay, there is no difference between you and Jagannath. You can eat Jagannath's offering, but why are you touching the plate of Lord Nrsimhadev? And then he said, oh, you are not leaving anything behind. So my Nrsimhadev is hungry today. And since he could not eat anything, being his servant, I will not eat. I'll also fast the whole day. So although this Nrsimhadev Brahmachari, Nrsimhananda Brahmachari, he was extremely happy within his heart to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eating everything, but externally he expressed his disappointment. And then, Kaviraj Goswami quotes, Swayam Bhagavan Krishna Chaitanya Gosai Jagannath Nrsimha Saha Kichu Bheda Nahi. He's saying Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is Chaitanya Gosai, is Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jagannath Nrsimha Saha Kichu Bhed Nahi. And so hence there is no difference between Mahaprabhu, between Lord Jagannath and between Lord Nrsimhadev. They all 3 are one. And we know that beautiful song of Vasudev Ghosh, and what he writes, Vasudev Ghosh bole Kori jodo haat, say Krishna, Jai Gaura, say Krishna, say Jagannath. Even Vasudev Ghosh, Kori jodo haat, by, folding his hands together, he says that there is no difference between Sachinandan Gaurahari and between the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, between Yashodananda Krishna and of course our Jagannath. There is no difference. And this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he revealed himself to him through his avirbhav, through his appearance, that there is no difference between Nrsimhadev, between Jagannath and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So after eating all these offerings, Mahaprabhu again, he started for Panihati and at the house of Raghava Pandit. But then Shivananda Sen, he came inside and he saw that Nashingananda Brahmachari, he's lamenting. And he asked, what happened? Why are you so depressed? And then Shingadev Brahmachari said that just see the behavior of your Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He ate all the offerings. He alone ate all the offerings of Jagannath and Nashingadev also. And, he not even left any remnants behind. And then when Shivanand Sen heard this, and he thought that, okay, this Nashingananda Brahmachari, he is in trance, he is in ecstasy. And so he started doubting whether whatever he is speaking is because of some ecstatic love or this incident has really happened. And he has seen Mahaprabhu eating all the 3 plates. So Shivanand Sen started doubting. But anyways, Nashingananda Brahmachari, he was externally showing his despondency that I'm not happy. And so he requested Shivanand Sen to bring more foodstuffs, raw foodstuffs, so that I can cook again for my worshipable Lord Nashingadev, because he was not able to eat. Though he knew that there is no difference, but just, of his devotion, out of his exclusive devotion to Nashingadev, he said. And then Shivanand Sen, he provided, with more of raw foodstuffs to prepare another offering for Nashingadev. And next year, what happened, that when Shivananda Sen, he came to Jagannath Puri with all the other devotees of Bengal to meet Mahaprabhu. Then one day in assembly, Mahaprabhu, he started glorifying Nashingananda Brahmachari and his devotional qualities. And then the Lord said that last year in the month of Paush, I went to Nashingadev Brahmachari's home and he gave me varieties of sweetmeats and vegetables to eat. And they were so good that I felt that I have never eaten such wonderful preparations before. So hearing this, all the devotees, especially Shivanand Sen, he was awestruck with wonder, and he finally became confident. His doubt was eradicated and he became confident that the incident, what Nashingananda Brahmachari was quoting, was actually true. So Mahaprabhu personally, he manifested his Avirbhav there in the month of Paush, and he was the one who personally came and ate all the offerings. And in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that this way Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to eat at the temple of Sachimata every day, and he would also used to visit Shiva's Thakur's home, his Angan, whenever some kirtan is performed. And similarly, he was always present when Nityananda Prabhu danced, no matter wherever, because Nityananda Prabhu was also requested by Mahaprabhu that you go to Bengal and preach there. So there, wherever Nityananda Prabhu used to dance, Mahaprabhu would be personally present. And finally, 4th place is he regularly appeared at the house of Raghava Pandit. And then Kaviraj Goswami says that Lord Gaurasandra is greatly influenced by the love of his devotees. Therefore, wherever there is a pure devotion to the Lord himself appears in front of his devotees. That's the nature of the Supreme Lord. And then we'll end here. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in text number 83, he says, Eita khailu gaurera avirbhava, iha yehi suni jane chaitanya prabhava. So again, he's giving a Falashruti of just this context. The chapter has not yet ended. It's just the 83rd verse. But since he quoted these 2 beautiful pastimes, he says that I have described the appearance of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and anyone suni jane chaitanya prabhava, that anyone who hears about these incidents with full faith and sincerity, they can understand the transcendental opulence of the Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So these are the 3 ways that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami quotes with the beautiful pastimes with Nakula Brahmachari and Nashingananda Brahmachari, and he explains in great detail. So we'll stop here. So thank you all so much for joining, and I know this was just on a storyline, but even I felt very happy when I read this. So hope you all felt the same bliss. So thank you so much for joining.
Hare Krishna. Very, very happy, Mathaji. I wanted to ask you, why did you stop? It was so nice. All the stories were so nice. And generally, with stories, actually, we learn more. I feel like just by meditating on the character that is being described, there is so much that we can relate to ourselves. And not ourselves, meaning that, we see what we lack and we can improvise on ourselves. Listening and hearing about their wonderful qualities. So I really wanted to thank you for a few things. One is about the wonderful four-syllable mantra Gauranga. Uh, so beautiful. Yes, as you said, even as you were saying the pastime, I was constantly reminded of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. And and one thing I should say, I should admit that I've really not had an ounce of love for Gauranga. But today, somehow, as you were talking, I felt that little bit was, especially when I was hearing these pastimes. And as you were talking about the glories of Mahaprabhu, I thought, okay, maybe yes, I could also awaken a little bit of love. Yeah. I don't know if I can even say that because I'm really, really not there. But at least I can say a minute molecule. As you were talking, especially today. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for kindling that. Thank you so much. And then the other thing about Narsingananda Brahmachari, cooking again for Narsingadev, I could totally relate to it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was so wonderful, so beautiful. And one thing I wanted to point out is that as you were talking about, these three things, you say you worship Varahadev, you go to Varahaloka. You worship Narsingadev, you go to Narsingaloka. But when you worship Krishna, when you worship Gauranga, you go to Krishna. Actually, when you were saying that, you sounded so much like Bhakti Charu Maharaj. I really wanted to tell that. You sounded so much like him, so much like him. And again, you reminded me of Bhakti Charu Maharaj. So, two wonderful Vaishnavas you reminded us of. And also, the pastimes are so nectarian and they were just flowing, 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 flowing from your mouth. Thank you so much for making us so happy. Hare Krishna.
I'm nowhere close to both these Vaishnavas, not even the dust of their lotus feet. But I'm glad that, you could feel their presence. So that means, whatever I was speaking was just through their empowerment. So that again, specifically that clarifies this point that Mukum karoti vachalam pangum langayate giram yat kripatam ham vande Shri Guru Dinatarim. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Hare Krishna. Oh, go
after,
ahead. I'm sorry, Preeti, go ahead.
no, yeah. After everyone is done, yeah, I want to ask Vrinda Gopika Mataji's request of Bajagauram go again, but let everyone finish.
Sure.
Preeti, I am so glad to speak after you because you just spoke what was in my heart. I was yelling as you were speaking because you were saying what I was feeling. Oh, okay. Yes, I'll start my video. Okay. Yeah. It was amazing because I felt very much the same that what Preeti was saying, and even the comment about your Guru Maharaj, because the last, I did the retreat with him for the Central New Jersey Temple, and that class was the glories of Lord Caitanya. And it was so nectarian. It was so beautiful. I was in tears each night that he did that retreat, and we couldn't let him go. The end of the class would come and we would all say, can we stay a little longer? And questions kept coming, and he was so sweet and patient, and he kept answering all of the questions you know, and there were times where I looked at him and I said, he looks tired, but we couldn't let him go. And then he added an extra night of the class because we all were so happy to have him. And as you were giving this class and speaking of Lord Chaitanya, I felt the same as Preeti. I felt this love in my heart for Lord Chaitanya that stronger than I've ever felt before. And yes, so thank you so much, Mathaji. It was beautiful. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much, Tiffany Mathaji. Thank you for your sincerity and your dedication. Yes, again, I'll say I'll nowhere close, not even an iota of love I have for Gauranga Mahaprabhu, what my Guru Maharaj has. But yes, whatever I do have, because somehow I'm also very much attracted to Nityananda Prabhu. He is my worshipable Lord, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and that has only and only been given because of my spiritual master. Otherwise, it would have been impossible. So, but thank you so much for your wonderful and encouraging words. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mathaji.
Krishna Vrinda Mataji.
Thank you so much. Beautiful class. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. What is it, Mathaji?
I felt so happy today, Akshita chanting.
Yeah, she's been chanting for past 2 days on camera. Yeah, so thank you for a very beautiful class. I completely agree with Preeti Vilasini Mataji and Tiffany Mataji. Definitely you have some special love for Chaitanya Charitamrita and Lord Gauranga, and it gets transferred. I've always felt that. Thank you so much for that. I have few questions, Mataji. Thank you for explaining about 3 aspects: Sakshat Darshan, Avesha, and Avirbhav. Mataji, you explained about Krishna's another name, Hari Medhasa. Can you please explain its meaning again?
Yeah, Hari Medhasa, Srimad Bhagavatam in 11th canto it comes.
Okay.
I don't remember the verse, but in 11th canto it comes as Hari Medhasa, which Medha means intelligence. So Krishna uses his intelligence in propagating or in making some plans through which he can deliver, because his main idea is to give deliverance to everybody, whether through offerings or whether through pampering or whether through any other ways, right? So he planned different ways just to deliver all the fallen souls of these 3 worlds. So his name is therefore Hari Medhasa.
So this is applicable especially for Avesha, like he gives intelligence to devotees to...
Applicable only to Avesha is the various ways through which Krishna propagates this plan. So it will be through his Sakshat Darshan, through his Avesha, his Avirbhava, anyways.
Okay, Mataji, thank you. And the pastime of Nakula Brahmachari and Shivananda Sen, like how Shivananda Sen doubted about Nakula Brahmachari. So I was just thinking before that, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had showered his mercy on him and actually he was delivered. Then how still again he doubted Nakula Brahmachari? Was it for good? I mean, I don't know if I understood it properly. Like intention was good in doubting him or in tasting him.
Intention was saying that of Arjuna and Krishna. Arjuna knows everything, but he was put into that illusion in the moment of delusion where he said, I'm not going to fight. Similarly, Shivananda Sen was just an instrument. In both the pastimes, he was just an instrument that Mahaprabhu can go to any extent to deliver his devotees.
Okay.
An instrument.
And why he chose Nakula Brahmachari? Because I don't know much about Nakula Brahmachari. It's like
there's no much mentioned also about this, but it's only this is the pastime, and if I really don't know exactly, but this is just the pastime that Kaviraj Goswami quotes. But why specifically him? I'm sorry, Mathaji, even I can't answer that.
Okay, no problem, Mathaji. Okay. And another thing, like you mentioned about, if I'm not wrong, his name is Keshwananda Saraswati in Varanasi, who was the leader of Mayavati. Prakashananda Saraswati, leader of Mayavatis, and then how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered all of them in Varanasi. And then you used a word like they were satisfied when they saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yeah, they were so much satisfied in their spiritual sense that as if they got everything. Until now, the Varanasi is basically because, the presence of Vishwanath, which is Lord Shiva, they are mostly Shivites or they are Mayavadis. But because of the presence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there, that so many people were converted into Vaishnavas that they started chanting the holy name, and they even started reading Srimad Bhagavatam because just of the presence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they all were satisfied, spiritually satisfied by seeing Lord Chaitanya. When we did that verse, chapter, the 25th chapter, which entitles in Madhya Lila, the last chapter we did, it entitles the same, that how the Vaishnavas, the Varanasi devotees were converted into Vaishnavas.
Okay, but I don't know that way. The word satisfaction is a little bewildering for me here. I don't know if I understood it completely, because what happens is when we see someone, we feel like seeing them again and again. That satisfaction, we don't feel then satisfied.
That satiation, doesn't happen because they want to meet Mahaprabhu again and again. Satisfaction is that they were somehow satisfied in their hearts. They were spiritually satisfied. That they got something very, very valuable, and how they were leading their life, and how now they will be leading their life. So that kind of spiritual satisfaction happened. There is a difference between having a satisfaction and having satiation in our life. So chant the holy names, if we chant, when we do 16 rounds, we don't feel 100% satisfied, right? When we chant more rounds, somehow there is a kind of satisfaction that, oh, I did something for Supreme Lord. But still that satiation should not come, that, oh, I have done enough and now I cannot do more. So that satiation point, that should not be there whenever we are doing any kind of devotional service. But yes, satisfaction does happen when we go out for book distribution, and when few books goes, we feel a little bit satisfied. Okay, I was able to do something. We know that I was not the one who did it, but there is a kind of satisfaction that comes, okay, that I was somehow used as an instrument in Mahaprabhu's mission. So whichever service we do, whether it is cleaning, cooking, or book distribution, or dressing, or arati, anything what we do, even at home, we feel a little bit kind of satisfaction. But satiation is that when we feel, okay, I have done enough, that end of the day, no more. That point should not be reached as respect to devotional service. You got my...
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Mathaji. Thank you once again for bearing with me with all my questions. Thank you.
So, that I can also get inspired in my services. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mathaji. Such a divine class, Mathaji. Thank you so much. It's totally to say we cannot feel Gauranga, but I can at least understand I'm lacking the mercy of Gauranga. I can understand that. You made me feel that. Because you said the point that those who don't know Gauranga, even though they visit Vrindavan Dham, they're not getting it. So that's a very valid point, Mathaji. So how much we should be aware before going to the Dham, we must know what we have to know. So very thankful. I'm very, very thankful for the class. And I have few clarifications, Mathaji, or questions or confusion. Mathaji, you mentioned the 4 places where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appear. You said Sachimada's house. So is it daily? He used to appear?
Daily. That's what Krishnadas Kaviraj does. Daily, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go to Sachinada's.
Okay, Mathaji, thank you. And in the last past day, Mathaji, about Narasimhananda Brahmachari, so it was only he who saw Gauranga eating. So all the people who were waited for 1 month, they couldn't see Gauranga.
It's only he who saw Gauranga Mahaprabhu eating all the offerings.
Okay, and Shivananda saying he recognized it. Okay, he might have seen it. So how did the other people...
He didn't even see it. No. He didn't see it. Rather, when he saw Nrsinga Nanda Brahmachari lamenting that how Mahaprabhu has eaten all the three offerings, so he got bewildered. Rather, again, like in the first pastime of Nakula Brahmachari, he had a doubt. In this time also, he had a doubt. He became again the instrument of doubting, and he started doubting that whether Nrsingananda Brahmachari is talking all this because of some ecstasy or some dream, or that incident really happened, that Mahaprabhu literally came and ate all three offerings. So he had a doubt, but he didn't say anything. And next year, when Shivananda Sen went to, with all the other devotees of Bengal, he went to Puri. At that time, Mahaprabhu disclosed in front of everyone that last year I went, and Nrsingananda Brahmachari fed me very nicely, and so wonderful preparations were made. And that time he realized, Shivananda Sen realized, that whatever Nrsingananda Brahmachari was saying was true, and the incident really happened. It was not in a dream, it was not in his meditation, but actually Mahaprabhu came.
Yes, Mataji, but my question was not a question, just I'm feeling that. So the people, they were waiting for 1 month, right, with all the preparation, they were expecting to see the Prabhu, see Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So they were literally disappointed, right? Well, like why Mahaprabhu didn't give the appearance for them.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay. And one more question, Mathaji. You were mentioning about the 4 places, and that was Raghava Pandit house, the last one, the 4th. Raghava Pandit. So any information, Mathaji, not a detailed one, just to say, like, does he also cook daily? He appears daily, or
Pandit and his sister Damayanti, they are very much famous of cooking for Mahaprabhu. So whenever Mahaprabhu used to go for some tour, they are the ones who would pack all kind of foodstuffs, all kind of pickles, or kind of, some sour vegetables, some sweet preparations, very nicely, they will prepare, and they will pack all these food for Mahaprabhu's tour whenever he will go to South India or when he went to Vrindavan. So they were the ones who were packing all the foodstuffs for Mahaprabhu's tour. So that's why, and their preparations is awesome. Mahaprabhu used to love their preparations. And therefore it says that Mahaprabhu's never leave the place where Raghava Pandit is there, because he also cooks a lot. Yeah.
Okay, Mataji. So that's all my questions was there. So very nice class, Mathaji. Thank you so much for your mercy, because Caitanya Mahaprabhu, to know about Caitanya Mahaprabhu, only Chaitanya Charitamrita and Srila Prabhupada's mercy. Only through this we can know him. And your mercy is so divine for us, Mathaji. Your classes are so special. I never miss it. I pray to Gauranga, I should never miss any of Chaitanya Charitamrita classes. So thank you so much, Mathaji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mathaji. Mercy is only from the spiritual masters and our acharyas. But definitely my prayers are with all of you, and for my own self, that we should all be dive deep into Gauranga Prem. Yeah. Thank you, Mathaji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dhanat Pranam, our glorious Krishna Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Mataji. It was so nectarian. And was even really say.
The voice started breaking, Mathaji.
Reading the past times. Yeah. My voice is breaking, Mataji?
Now it's okay.
Okay. While reading the past time, sometime I am getting also doubt, means that is sure, because as a conditioned soul. But that's again, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was showing, means even though Sivananda Sena has a doubt, but he again makes sure he will confirm. You were mentioning they are all, because he was also putting in illusion, and then he wanted to show us, just to make sure this pastime are not like they are the real pastime, Mataji. That what I understood, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji, your class. And thank you for encouraging always to read Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Thank you so much for your wonderful association.
Hare Krishna, Mata Kirtida Sundari Gopi, Koti Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Mataji. You are back. by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev. So nicely, you are so observed in the Leela. And when you are singing, no, Mataji, it's just to heart like a Gaur Govind Maharaj and like a I forgot the name, Indradanu Maharaj. So, like, Kaha Gaurang, Raha Gaurang, Kaha Gaurange Rana Mare, Jai Jana Gauranga Baje, Eha Mora Pranare. So, all of the story, it's come from your heart, Mataji. And that free offering is there. We are not qualified to see all that Leela, Mataji, but we can see the Leela because the preacher japa is very attentively and that sadhana is attentively, then only it touched to heart, Mataji. Koti koti dhanvat pranam. That three plates eaten by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the leelas and other song also. I forgot 3 songa. They all are touched to heart. Recently here from Amendra Prabhuji's class, and I have seen you are attending each and every class. Koti koti dhanvat pranam to your seva. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai.
Thank you for your sincerity, Mathaji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Kirtida Sundari Mathaji. Very, very beautiful, beautiful class, Mathaji. As Vrinda Gopika Mathaji said, when you are singing na, I feel like dancing only. Your voice is so nice, Mathaji. And your expression, you are glowing, Mathaji, when you are saying Katha.
Vrinda is very cute.
Yeah, she likes you, Mathaji.
So nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Mathaji, for beautiful, beautiful pastimes. It's nice.
Thank you for spotting me, Mathaji.
Spiritual grow came, Mataji. Yes, I agree with you, Vinita.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, Mathaji, so true. Spiritual glow. Yes, Mathaji.
I don't know whether it's spiritual glow or what, but I don't know that.
No, Mathaji, very beautiful, beautiful. Especially songs. So many songs, Mathaji. Before you used to not like, when we ask you to sing the song, you were like going away. But your classes are having so many songs now. Very beautiful, Mathaji. Very beautiful.
Association of all of you, I got this taste in Vaishnava Bhajan. So all glories to all of your wonderful association.
Thank you, Mathaji. It's so beautiful. Hare Krishna.
Please forgive us. One more Gauranga song you sing so nicely. If there is no question, can you sing for 2 minutes?
Yeah, Preeti Vilasni on your behalf already requested me for this Kaho Gauranga, Laho Gauranga.
Second one also I forgot. That is also very nice, Mataji. Two sentences.
That one?
Yes, Mataji.
Jai Jagan, Jai Jagannath, Sachi.
Kirtan.
Yeah. So I can sing only one song, Mathaji, if it's okay.
Yes, next time second one.
You like to sing, you sing, Mathaji.
Okay, since Preeti Vilasni said the Kaho Gauranga, so I'll sing that.
Yeah. Yes, Mathaji, just before you sing, there are some chat, not questions, but comments, but I would like you to read them for yourself.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Indu Mathaji. Thank you so much, Tiffany Mathaji and Vinita Mathaji. Thank you so much, Lalitangi Mathaji. Thank you. Thank you for all your encouraging words and your blessings and prayers. Thank you.
Yeah, you can sing, Mathaji.
Okay, so we'll sing. Bhaj Gauranga, Kaho Gauranga, Laho Gaurangera Naam Re, Jai Jana Gauranga Bhaje, Se hoy amar pran re, Bhaj Gauranga, Kaho Gauranga, Laho Gaurangera Naam Re, Gauranga boliya, dubahu tuliya, nachiya nachiya bedao re, Gauranga boliya, नाचिया नाचिया बेदाओ रे गौरंगा बोलिया दुबाहु तुलिया नाचिया नाचिया बेदाओ रे बाजो गौरांग कहो गौरांग लहो गौरंगेरा नाम रे गौरंगा भजिले गौरंगा जपिले होय दुखेरा बशान रे गौरंगा भजिले गौरंगा जपिले होय दुखरे बशान रे भज गौरांग कहो गौरांग लहो गौरांगेरा नाम रे जय जन गौरंग भाजे से होय अमर प्राण रे भज गौरंग कहो गौरंग लहो गौरंगेरा नाम रे Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Vrinda. Unmuted and played for me. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, if there are no more questions and comments, we will stop. Sangeeta. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mathaji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Mathaji. Dhanvat Pranam. Thank you Mathaji for the wonderful class and the wonderful experiences which you were giving while giving the class. I just wanted to share one thing. Like when you said about this thing, what you said about the mercy of Lord Gauranga. I don't know, like what I have experienced is like when this was just my experience which I'm sharing. Like when you chant or when you pray more to Lord Nityananda, you directly get mercy of Lord Gauranga. I don't know. This was my experience very profound last year. Like it was like I don't know what had happened, but then I was just waiting for some service for like I had some altar service and I was just waiting for that service, and it was Nityanand Trayadashi. And like I was just like I'd heard a class somewhere and I was just chanting Lord Nityananda's name just randomly, and it wasn't my scheduled or service or anything, but it was Nityanand Trayadashi and I got to dress Lord Nityananda and Lord Gauranga, and it was such a mesmerizing experience. Like Lord Gauranga gets satisfied when you praise Lord Nityananda. This was my conclusion that day. Like rather when you are in trouble, when you're in anything, like I don't know, we cannot reach to Radha Krishna directly, but Lord Nityananda is so merciful. You go on chanting his name and he will give you some mercy somewhere. Whether you're pure or not pure, he does not see that distinguish. But your class just made me realize that so much. Thank you, Mathaji, for this wonderful class and again making me realize that part which is really, really needed at this hour. So wonderful, Mathaji. Love you for all your hard work and getting us closer to Lord Gauranga. Can you say that Gauranga again, that syllable form again? It was so wonderful, you know. My back is sprained, so I was like so much in pain. But that listening to that part, it just made me so much comfortable. Can you say that again, Mathaji, please?
I don't know. It just so much in the flow. I don't know if it had the same impact. But I'll say Gauranga.
Thank you, Mathaji. Your smile makes up our days. Thank you so much.
That's so true for sharing, with all of us that, Nityananda Prabhu is the one who is giving us the association of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Even, directly approaching to Gauranga Mahaprabhu is not. Therefore, this song, right? Kaho Gauranga, Laho Gauranga, Bhajo Gauranga Namare. Say Jan, Jai Jan Gauranga Bhaje, say Amar Pranare. This is Nityananda Prabhu is saying that whosoever will sing Gauranga, I'll become a sold out servant to that personality. So through Nityananda only we'll get Gauranga. Even I don't know, once when I asked that, while doing even on these special Avirbhav Tithis of Nityananda and Gauranga, there's always a confusion whom we have to bathe first. Because through Nityananda we'll get Gauranga, right? And Nityananda is elder than Gauranga. But then Gauranga is Mahaprabhu, whom we have to bathe first. It is said that actually Nityananda Prabhu loves if we respect Gauranga more. So, we should always bathe Gauranga first. And this is what even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he told Haridas Thakur, and he told Nityananda, Suni Suni Haridasa Suni Nityananda, that Prati Ghare Ghare Diya Karo E Bhiksha. That every go and knock the door and just tell them to chant Krishna's name. But then Nityananda Prabhu started thinking that Krishna Nama, it will bring a lot of offenses. I don't know whosoever will say Krishna, whether it will bring Krishna, they'll say it in that mood, and whether they'll income some offenses. Then he started telling everybody, say Gauranga, because Gauranga na, it doesn't carry any offenses. Rather, it gives away, all the offenses are being taken away just by reciting the name of Gauranga. Therefore, as Srila Prabhupada also started, that when we chant our Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we should first chant the name of Panchatattva. That was given by Jagannathas Babaji. That, we should always and always chant Panchatattva mantra. It's so potent. It's so potent. That before chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we should chant this Panchatattva mantra. So Gauranam, Gauradham, Gaura Rupa Gun, Aparade Nahimane Tarere Pun. Gauranam, the name of Gaura, the Dham of Gaura, that is Navadvip Dham, and the qualities of Gauranga, Gaura Gun, they don't consider any kind of offenses. Rather, Tarere Nepun, rather considering any offenses, they'll just give you the ultimate love, that is Krishna Prem. So they'll tar you, they'll give you all kind of liberation. Liberation here means that you'll get Krishna Prem. So it's so important. And thank you for sharing your realization that yes, through Nitai we can get everything.
Thank you, Mathaji. Thank you so much.
This is Goswami says, Patra Patra dekhi nahi na dekhi sthana sthana. It doesn't see whether we are eligible, whether we are qualified, but just, wherever Gauranga Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu says, that just Krishna Prem is just, it flows like Srila Prabhupada, and how in New York City, among all the hippies, he started those happy dolls. That, just worship these happy dolls, just with one incense stick, and you'll get everything. Yes, this Kali Yuga is Gauranga, so we should always say, let's all say Gauranga.
Gauranga.
Nityananda.
Gauranga.
Gauranga. Nityananda Gauranga. Nityananda Gauranga.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we'll stop here. It's already 12:36. Mathaji, would you like to take over?
Yes, Mathaji, if there is nobody having any more questions, we can end here. Mathaji, I would like to offer my obeisances to all of you. Vancha kalpatarobhyasya kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnavrind ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Her Grace Kirtida Sundari Mathaji ki jai. Thank you, Mathaji. Hare Krishna.
Jai Gauranga. Jai.
Hare Krishna. Gauranga.
Jai Gauranga.
Thank you, Mathaji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mathaji. Hare Krishna.